Hey friends, looking forward to today's conversation. I hope you enjoy it. Today I sat down with Veena Jetti. She is the founding partner of Vive Funds. It's a unique commercial real estate firm, and they specialize in curating conservative opportunities for investors. Veena brings a dynamic perspective to targeting, acquiring, managing, and operating assets using best practices combined with cutting-edge technologies. She also leads a Facebook community called Mastering Multifamily with Veena Jetti. Veena also pursued her passion for real estate and has over a decade of real estate experience and over $1 billion in multifamily transactions in her own portfolio. Veena is also passionate about philanthropy. She is a wife to her husband of almost 14 years, and she is a mom to twins. Enjoy today's conversation. Hey friends, and welcome to the Moms About Sanity podcast. I'm Brittany, accountability coach for women who know they're made for more. This is a space where ambition meets real life, where we talk fitness, family, personal growth, leadership, and all the what the hell is happening right now moments in between. Around here, we don't chase perfection. We build momentum. We push comfort zones, ask better questions, and take real action on the goals that matter most. Each week, you'll hear honest conversations, powerful guests, and grounded reminders that you don't have to choose between showing up for your life and going after your potential. So whether you're walking, sweating, driving, or hiding in your car for 5 quiet minutes, you're in the right place. This is your permission to stop playing small in your own life. Let's get into it. Well, I am seriously honored and so excited for this conversation and for you all to listen to this. So I'm just diving right in here with Veena Jetti. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm super excited.
Thank you. So I will intro you prior to this and all the things, but let's listen to your intro before I dive into literally all the things with you.
Okay, I love it. Well, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Veena Jetti. I am the founder of a company called Vive Funds. I'm also a partner in Clever Investor, and I primarily am a large multifamily owner operator based in Dallas, Texas. I've done just over $1 billion in my own portfolio, and I'm excited to keep growing. I'm also a mom to twin 6-year-olds that are going on 26. They know everything. And I am married to my best friend we've been married for 13 years now. I've been together 14 and a half. And yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, an investor. Wear many hats.
You truly do. And as we were just saying before we jumped onto the record here, how we're just filling our plates constantly. And is that kind of, when you look back, you're like, am I doing enough? You keep adding and adding. And is that the type of person that you are? You're like, next level, what more?
I think I get excited about things that are coming up, or if I see the value in something. And so if I get excited, then I'm like, yes, I'm going to add that to my plate. And I've been trying to be better about recognizing the things that are not fully like in alignment with what I want to do and saying no to that. But I have to say I'm really bad at that because I get very excited to collab and to help other people and to make an impact or do this or do that. Sometimes I do find myself regretting that I agreed to something, but I'm very much like a woman of my word. So if I say I'm going to do something, I can't show up and do it like 50%. I have to do it 110%. And so that makes it more challenging because I find out in the moment, I'm like, oh, I probably should not have agreed to this because my heart's not in it. But yeah, it leads to burnout. I've been burnt out for a while now. So I'm trying to like push through and recover from that.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And make sure you're not pushing the whole time because that's not going to help you either.
No.
So I am so curious. A lot of women have been, I feel, conditioned to play small with money. Was money always a conversation as you grew up, either positive or negatively?
Yeah, it was both. So I'm the daughter of immigrants, and my parents came here with $26. They have like the traditional immigrant story. And so my parents always taught us about saving and investing, and they actually talked about money with us a lot and taught us a lot about money. So it wasn't intimidating for my sister or I to have conversations around money. But we also got, because they were immigrants, We also got a lot of the scarcity mindset around money too, that I think is innate with immigrants and children of immigrants. Like I fall into it a lot, is this idea that we have to save. We have to save for the next thing. We have to save for the next thing. So, like, my parents, even though they're self made millionaires, like, it wasn't until in the last decade when my sister and I were both grown, out of the house, married, settled, like everything. And they were millionaires and they shared one car. For 30 years, they shared one car because they were like, we don't need two cars. And they always bought used cars that were like Japanese made cars that would last for 100,000 miles, and they drive their cars into the ground. So, there is some level of scarcity that comes with being the daughter of immigrants. But yeah, we talked about money in our house. And now with my kids, I talk about money all the time. The difference is I don't talk about it in scarcity the way my parents did as often. It still creeps in sometimes. It's always there because it's so innate to who I am.
Totally. That's such a fascinating conversation because I feel like, especially the first gen that starts to make the money and lives there, I feel like is a constant conversation about still living in that scarcity mode and like, we will not invest until we make every dollar, don't spend more than, I get that, don't spend more than you make. But at the same time, like, where do you leave that conversation to make that next step?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
hard. So my parents took a big leap of faith when they moved from India to the US, right? Like that was
absolutely.
their sacrifice. That was their big step just for the opportunity that my sister and we weren't even born at that time. They didn't even know if they'd have kids, how many kids, who they'd be, right? Like they just knew they wanted kids and they wanted a better opportunity. So they moved here for just a chance at a different life. That's because in the 80s, when my parents came here, like India didn't have opportunities. It didn't have a lot of upward mobility. It also didn't have a lot of opportunity for girls, right? And they didn't know they were going to have daughters, but I guess they assumed they could have daughters. They ended up with two.
And look, yeah.
So they came here in 1980. They've been here for 45 years now, almost 46 years. My sister and I were both born here. So being that second generation with parents that were really good with money and that did save and that did have a safety net created for my sister and I, it gave my sister and I a lot of opportunity to take risk that we couldn't have otherwise taken on, right? Like, and I say this too, if there are moms out there, like I also started taking risks when I was in my teens. It's a lot different for you to take massive risk when you're not worried about feeding another mouth, when you're not worried about diapers or daycare costs. My husband has a great income. So, there's a lot of single moms out there that just have a different reality. Your responsibility level is different. You might not be able to take the same level of risk, but there are some risks that you could take that would be appropriate. And I think that learning to understand where those risks are can help us make those bigger moves that we want to make.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you see shift in a woman's life when she finally decides that she's allowed to want this and allowed to build this wealth?
Oh my gosh, so much. So I'm a really big fan of women having access to money and controlling money and being able to earn money. And it's not because I want women to go out and be able to like buy the bag, right? I mean, yeah, I want you to be able to do that too. But also, and more importantly, a woman with money is a woman with power. And it's not power in the traditional sense that like the patriarchy or men think about it, right? It's the power of being able to choose to leave a situation that doesn't serve you. Because what happens is women's work traditionally is undervalued and underpaid and unrecognized, right? Like the amount of work that we do as mothers, as wives, as friends, as sisters, as community members, right? Like we have all these different things that we put unpaid emotional labor into or invisible labor into, right? And so what happens is women get married, they have kids, they maybe stay home or they take some kind of maternity leave or whatever it is, right? Like we sacrifice our body, our soul, our mental well-being, like everything to create life. And it's powerful what we do and it's a strength what we do. At the same time, when women choose or are forced, right? Like whether they choose to or not, when they're in the situation where they don't have a career, they don't have money, they don't have a supportive spouse, they end up getting trapped in those marriages. They end up trapped in bad marriages. They end up accepting less than they deserve because realistically, financially, it's a problem to leave. And so, I say this to my husband all the time. I'm here and I'm married to you and I'm with you because I love you and I want to be with you and I want to build this life with you. I don't need you to support us financially. And like, sure, we share everything. We share all our finances, but I'm with him because he's a good human and a good partner and he treats me well and he treats my girls well and he takes care of us and he provides and protects and does all the things that are important for me. But if you don't have that, right? If you're not married to like a giant green flag like I am, and you're married to a red flag, you need to be able to leave the situation. And it's hard to do that. It's not impossible, but it is much harder to do that when you don't have marketable skills or money and you don't have that power.
Oh my gosh. So true. And how I love the green flag, red flag. I say red flag all the time. I have not heard the green flag, so I love that one. But just imagine being stuck and feeling that way. I too am in a marriage, very happy. We've been married for 20 years. Like, absolutely my best friend. I cannot imagine the other side of that. And yet, so many people do feel stuck and trapped. And oh my gosh. So, you do talk about how real wealth is not about being rushed. And I know we live in this world of like instant gratification. So, how do we as women even start embracing that patience, that long term thinking, especially when life feels busy and demanding?
It'll continue to feel busy and demanding. That's not going to change, right? When we think about investments, actually, women are better at thinking in the long term than men are. So, men tend to take more risks in the short term. They tend to take bigger risk and outsized risk. So, honestly, for women, it's really as simple as trusting our intuition and trusting our gut because we are wired differently than men and we naturally see longer term horizons. We naturally see inherent risk that we can pull back from. We are naturally actually better investors than men by all the metrics that any investor cares about.
I absolutely love that you pulled intuition into this money conversation because I think we get away from trusting that inner knowing so often. There's so much noise.
100%. And a lot of it too is because society has told us that we are not investors. I'll leave that to the men. That's a man's job. Look, it wasn't until 50 years ago that we could have a credit card without our husband or dad.
Isn't that insane?
In our mother's life,
Oh my gosh. Yes. Or buying a home, like all of the wow.
a business, buying a home. And despite it only being 50 years, look at how much we've done. Imagine if we didn't have that same barrier and we were actually on a level playing field with men.
And now look at, you say this stat, so I'll let you share it, but something like 2/3 of women will be ruling the workplace or something. Like,
Yeah.
yes, let's go.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. So 2/3 of American households will be controlled by women. $124 trillion is going to change hands in the great wealth transfer. Of that, $100 trillion is going to go into women's hands.
Girl, let's do it.
Yeah.
Ladies, if you're listening,
Our time.
find your why and let's go.
It's our time, ladies.
I know scarcity shows up differently for everyone and really depends, I feel, on your circumstances, your priorities, fear of failure, fear of even success. What's one belief about money you wish every woman would release?
A fear about money?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think that the fear and stigma that I see most often from women is that they don't want to talk about it. They feel embarrassed talking about money. They have been told their whole lives that it's rude to talk about money and politics and religion, right? And the problem is we tell that to everybody and men don't follow those same rules. They talk about money. They talk about investments. They share resources. They open doors for each other. So I think that removing the stigma and the fear of talking about money is the first goal, right? Because once we can talk about money, we can share ideas, we can talk about what we're investing in, we can learn from each other. I can teach you about real estate and you can teach me about another asset class, right? Like, so removing the stigma of talking about it and the fear of talking about it is absolutely the first. And then the second is removing the insecurity or the doubt imposter syndrome creates. Because a lot of women will say, I don't know anything about that. I'm not good at that. But you are. You are good at this. You are inherently good at making risk-based decisions. And so a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of education, a little bit of network support can give you the foundation and the confidence to be able to hurdle that and get to the next level.
And then, as you said, like, you are good, trusting again that intuition. So how do you then teach the women to trust that inner knowing when, making financial or business decisions are scary?
Yeah, and they are. And that doesn't go away. And that doesn't change with more experience. It doesn't change with more deals, more transactions. It changes when you start actually setting yourself up for success by working on your mindset, being intentional about your mindset. So I work with a woman, her name's Rosie Noel. She's incredible. She's a mindset coach, high performance coach. And she's the one that really helps me get out of my own way a lot. And I highly recommend to any women in the space, if they are struggling, find a great coach and find a woman, not a man, that can coach you and really level you up, because there are great male coaches. I have a lot of men that have mentored me and coached me over the years. They still don't understand the reality of balancing motherhood, being a woman, your wife, like being all these things to everybody. They still don't understand it in a way that they can explain it and coach you through it.
My gosh, you're saying this exactly to the right community because, our group mastermind is Momentum Collective, and it's monthly coaching for moms who are building the next, because there is exactly something that moms balance, deal with, walk through that others don't totally understand. And so I love that you definitely hit on that. Quick pause. And I want to speak directly to you for a second. If you've been listening to this podcast thinking, this hits, but I need support actually applying it, that's exactly why I built the Momentum Collective. It's a coaching space for women who don't want more information. They want clarity, accountability, and real forward movement. Inside, we focus on building momentum in your health, your mindset, your goals, and your life without burning yourself out. If you're ready to stop circling the same goals and start taking consistent action, the Momentum Collective might be exactly what you've been looking for. You can find all the details in the show notes. Okay, back to the episode. Quick pause, because this has been part of my reset this year. As we move into a new year, I've been really intentional about how I'm setting myself up. And for me, a fresh start begins at home. I've been resetting my space with Cozy Earth, and it's made such a difference. Their Baja bedding collection is a full matching set with beautiful textures and reversible designs that instantly create this calm, very elevated feel. And it honestly feels like a resort level reset at home. And their luxe bath towels, so soft, plush, and absorbent. One of those small upgrades that make everyday routines feel more intentional. What I love most is that feeling good at home helps you show up better everywhere else. And it's risk-free. Cozy Earth offers a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. If you're ready to refresh your space, head to cozyearth.com and use my code MOMENTUM for up to 20% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, make sure you mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here. All right, back to the episode. How have you built this success without sacrificing the life that you've wanted?
I haven't. I have sacrificed the life I wanted in many instances. Look, the reality is when I'm here working, there's someone else raising my kids and taking care of my kids. If it were up to me, I would just hang out with my kids all day and frolic and travel the world and, but they have to get educated. They need to be socialized, like they have to do certain things too. And I have to give them that stepping stool of success. And, I miss things because I travel a lot for work and I can't always be at everything. And it sucks. I hate it. I want to be at everything, but I also know that I'm showing them something that's important too, which is that when they get older, they don't have to choose between being a mom, a wife, an entrepreneur, a career woman. Like they can choose to do both. And they can know that they can show up at 100% when they're with their families and 100% when they're with their business ventures and 100% in their social lives. And then they can kind of rotate between those. But I wouldn't say that I haven't sacrificed or I'm not sacrificing. I sacrifice every day. It's just a matter of what I'm sacrificing on any specific day.
Thank you for saying that. I absolutely agree. I think that we walk through seasons, right? And certain times demand so much more different from us, but you are leading by example for your kids.
Thank you. Yes, I'm trying.
Gosh, you are successfully doing so.
Kids is so much harder than I thought it would be. Before I had kids, all the moms are going to laugh at me when I say this because I would now laugh at myself if I heard this. Before I had kids, I was like, oh, it'll be fine. I'm just going to hire nannies and I'll just like come in and out of their lives as I can. I'm going to keep all my life the same. And then, I feel like having dinner with them, I'll just go and like hang out and have dinner with them. I don't know why I thought this was like a legitimate way to handle motherhood. My parents were very hands-on and we didn't have nannies or anything growing up. So it's not like I was exposed to this and then was like, oh, this is a normal. I don't know why I thought this. What I didn't realize is I would want to be around them all the time. Like I want to go pick them up early from school all the time just so I can hang out with them because I miss them and I love them and I love hanging out with them. And they're like the best people on the face of the planet. Like without question, they are my favorite humans. So I thought that I could just hire out help. And I did. What I couldn't hire out or I wasn't prepared for was how much I'd want to be around them and hang out with them and how much like I love spending time with them. And two, the mental labor that never ends. I can hire all sorts of help nonstop, and there's no world in which I can offload, okay, am I making the right decision here? Do we need to change the way we're parenting them? Or do we need to put one of them in therapy or into soccer? Or what's going to be the best for them to learn how to read? Or do they need math? Like it's just nonstop mental and emotional labor.
Your heartbeat doesn't belong to just you any longer.
Yeah. And what's terrifying too is having my heart walking around in two other people away from me all the time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Scary.
I think for me too, one of the biggest was walking into parenthood. You don't realize how much they're actually going to teach you.
Without question. I learned so much from that. I learned from them. I'm better because of them. I care so much more about my own personal development because of them. Because I care so much about showing up as best as I can for them.
Yeah. So I would love to go on to you and your sister you speak of. What was your first big gut intuition? I'm going to make wealth for my family. This is happening. What was your first memory of that one?
Okay, I think I have to go all the way back to, it was probably around the time that my husband and I got married. I always knew I wanted to have enough money to not worry about making ends meet. And, I saw my parents save and invest and sacrifice to build their wealth. I wanted to build scalable wealth so that I didn't have to make sacrifices in the things that I wanted or that were important to me. And my husband, he's a high income earner, he does really well. And I knew we could live a very solid, comfortable lifestyle based on his income. But to me, it wasn't fun or appealing to not have to work and just not be able to spend time with my best friend. like he has to work. So him working is the same as me working. So at that time, I had decided that what I really wanted to do was build enough wealth quickly enough that we could both not have to go in to work. We could both retire and just live our lives, and I could spend time with the person I care about the most. So I think that was like kind of the big catalyst for me, was I wanted to be around my family all the time, and that requires me being able to make and generate enough wealth that we could replace his income, my income, and then some.
And what was that first step that you took?
The first step I took was, believe it or not, quitting my W-2. When we first got married, I was working in a W-2 and I was making a lot of money for someone else. We paid so much money in taxes. And when I quit, here in the US, the tax code is very friendly toward real estate investors and entrepreneurs. And so I quit my W-2, this stable job I had, to go out and build something on my own, but the risk was worth it. And, like I said earlier in this conversation, I didn't have kids to worry about. I had a husband with a great income. So I also just want to be mindful that that might not be the reality of someone listening to this. And it doesn't mean that you're a failure or it can't happen. It just means you have to take a different path to get.
You still had a floor there. You were raising your ceiling, but the floor was still
there. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So for the woman who is thinking of this or craving options, what's the simplest way to start thinking about passive income and wealth building, maybe without overwhelm, if that's possible?
Yeah. So I thought about this a lot. And I actually just recently have added like an arm to our business that I think is a really great place for someone who wants to get started, but doesn't know how to get started. So recently we've been seeing a lot of new opportunity in the wholesaling multifamily space. So I have two partners and myself, and the three of us together, we've done over $3 billion in deals. And, one of my partners has done over 2,000 wholesale deals. And so the three of us came together and we did a masterclass of exactly how you can start wholesaling multifamily, because a lot of people don't know that they can do that. And there's this like really unique window of opportunity over the next 18 to 24 months. And so I highly recommend anybody who wants to start in multifamily starts with wholesaling it and then using those funds to buy income producing assets. And that's how you build generational wealth without having to save up a bunch of money from a W-2. You can side hustle or you can hustle into wholesaling multifamily. The masterclass I put together, it's 2 hours. Anybody can check it out. It's learnfromveena.com. If you go there, there'll be like a link. You can register and join the masterclass. And then I also have an ebook there of day by day. I've broken down what you need to do on day 1, day 2, day 3 for your first month trying to wholesale deal. So I'll give you that too with the masterclass too, so you can get started.
Amazing. Is this something that is very state different? Like, I know we're talking American, like, is it different per state, or is it, all encompassing?
It's all encompassing. So if you want to be in just one state, there's going to be certain rules and regulations you need to follow in that state. But if generally speaking, you want to wholesale multifamily, even Canadians can do this in the US. It's not something that's barred from international investors. Anybody, you can be anywhere in the world and you can do this and take advantage of what the US markets have to offer.
That's fantastic. I think that having more than one stream of income too is so necessary.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So what is one mindset shift? Actually, one money shift.
Okay.
Every woman should make before stepping into this next year. And possibly it becomes the same question, money and mindset.
Oh, yeah, it probably is. It is definitely the same question, because money issues, any emotions tied to money are generally going to be rooted in some kind of perception of greed or shame or scarcity. I think that the mindset shift, if every woman can master the mindset shift of truly moving from scarcity to abundance, that will really change the way you think about things and do things. And what I mean by that is when you truly realize that money is not the end goal, it's time that's the end goal. It's the commodity that billionaires can't buy, right? Is time. And so we all have the same 24 hours in a day. The question is how much of the 24 hours every day do you get to be in full control? The 8 hours that you're going into a W-2, you're not in control, right? You are in control of your home life, maybe, or maybe you're not, right? Maybe you have other demands on you that you can't escape. All of these things are just further examples of why money is a tool. It is not the end goal. You can't take it with you when you die. You use it to buy experience and time and control over your time. That's what it's good for. It's not good for anything else.
Hallelujah. I absolutely love that. Yes. And I think we need that reminder so often. Yeah.
Especially when we're in like consumerism and we're constantly being shown like all the things. And I fall into it too. Like I have 100 Amazon boxes sitting in my front porch right now. Okay. So do as I say, not as I do. But we're in such a heavy consumption era, right? Like you can buy things and I can have them here by this afternoon, right? You can go online and purchase something and have it pretty instantly. And I can buy groceries without ever going into a grocery store. Like all those things change how our dopamine levels rise, right? And like what gives us that dopamine hit. So just getting used to controlling that impulse and that urge is also really helpful. So one of the things I do is I like to shop, and QVC was made for people like me. Infomercials were made for me because they all work on me. I can be influenced so easily. So now what I do, like when I'm scrolling TikTok and I see something really cool, I just add it to my cart and I don't buy it. I just wait. And usually within like a day or two, I'm like, why did I put that in there? That's stupid. I don't need that. Right. But in the moment, you still get kind of the same dopamine hit by adding it to your cart. And then you just revisit it. And then if I'm like, oh, yeah, this is still cool, I really need it still, then I'll order it.
I love that. Yeah. Take away that instant gratification and really think of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, I want to respect all of your time here today. I so appreciate you being here. One final question, as we're kind of at the end of 2025 here. What is something that you're looking back on from this year that you are so proud that you committed to, completed, prized yourself with?
Yeah, I know exactly what it is. As you said it, I'm like, oh, I know. In March of this year, I started shifting my social media messaging to talk to women exclusively. And I never did that before because I was scared to exclude men. And now what I've realized in doing that is not only have I found better quality women and the women that I want to be around and support, and I found so many new friendships and relationships and networks, I've also found that the green flag men stick around. They're not intimidated by it. They're not turned off by it. They're like, yeah, I agree. And they're like doubling down on it too. And so I'm like, oh, I just wanted to get rid of all the red flag men. And now I'm like culling my social media. So like the red flag men are like, no, absolutely not. I'm like, great, please leave because this content is really not for you. But I'm excited to be speaking to women, doing more for women, by women, supporting other women. Like I really leaned into that this year and I'm so excited about it.
Owning your power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, keep doing it because it's so visible and it's so needed. So thank you.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. Where can everyone find you? You dropped a few things, but yeah, where can we find you?
You can go to Learn from Veena if you want to look at the masterclass. But if you want to connect with me, I'm most active on Instagram and I respond to my own DMs there.
She does, I promise you.
Like I saw you on the video with Jen yesterday. Actually, I have to tell you something really funny. So
Yeah.
we posted that on day before yesterday on Tuesday, right? And you said, I'm so looking forward to tomorrow. And then I was like, tomorrow? What am I missing for tomorrow?
I did that too. And I'm like, hopefully she gets it.
Yeah. And then I went and I like was looking and I like looked at my emails and I asked my admin and she's like, are you talking about your podcast on Thursday? And I was like, she must have thought it was tomorrow, meant Thursdays, said that. I was like, all right, we can roll it. But I panicked that I forgot something that we had scheduled.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing.
I saw your comment. Yeah, I respond on Instagram. I'm very good about it there. Everywhere else, it'll be like an admin or AI or something. But on Instagram, it's me, Veena Jetti, everywhere on all the socials. And I'll never ask you to send me Bitcoin. If you get that request, it is a spoof account. My name is spelled VEENAJETTI.
I will tag everything in the show notes. Yes.
Variation of it is not me. It's a spam account. It's a scammer trying to get you to send them crypto. Don't do it.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you find some calm in the chaos of this festive season.
Thank you. You too.
Appreciate you so much. Thanks, Veena. Thanks. Thanks so much for tuning in today. If today's conversation resonated, then ask yourself what one small action you can take from it. Because momentum isn't built in big, dramatic moments. It's built in a quiet follow-through, the honest choices, and the decision you make when no one's watching. If you loved this episode, the best way to support the show is to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you don't have to choose between showing up for your life and going after your potential. This is your permission to stop playing small. I'll see you next time.